you know, it's not a good idea to go over. But so what you're doing is, if you're not running to time, is you're taking time off the headline act.
Yep. But you've still got to pay the headline act.
Well, no, the headline, it depends, like, say if a band is faffing around and it's their own fault they're running late. Classic example of this was Guns N' Roses at Reading Festival. And, you know, Axl Rose is known for coming on late.
Yeah.
And they were running late because of them. The festival's ready, the stage is ready. They're not there. Oh, you know, well, we're just doing this and doing that, but we're still going to do a full set. Were you just burning into your own time then?
Yep.
Yeah, and they came on about, I think, 45 minutes late.
Oh.
And you just have to pull the power on people, and that's dangerous, because then you can incite a riot.
Yep.
Yes.
Because the audience don't know what's happened.
Yep.
They just know that they only saw 20 minutes of the band they came to see, and then the power went. And so they blame the
setup.
everyone except the band.
Yep.
Have you been to any complicated situation at a festival that you saw
that
it going
one.
down? Oh, you were working on that one. You were on that one. Oh, damn. I thought it was just like a famous case.
Come on,
No,
pay
you were there.
attention.
You know that one, bro. That one.
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. No, I thought you were just like talking about a classic case. No, you were there. Shit.
So which one was that again?
Wow.
Well,
Were you with Fat Freddys or?
no, I was working for the festival.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, if you run a stage properly, then that shouldn't happen. But you do have to make sure people come off on time. That's quite hard, especially for someone like Fat Freddys, because each song's about 20 minutes long. And I've seen them like before when when they, like, you've got 5 minutes to go and they start another song. You're like, no, guys, no.
Yeah. So how often does that happen where you've got, say, a lineup of 5 bands?
Yeah.
And how often is it that the first 2 or 3 bands go over time?
Well, it depends on who's stage managing. If it's me, then never.
Ever?
No, you know, you can go over a couple of minutes, and then you growl at the band. I mean, you have to have a process. I always take the bands aside before they go on and explain to them. And, you know, I'll be standing on the side of the stage, and you have a system where you know, you'll do...
No, carry on.
You'll do 5 minutes, like you'll have a 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then you'll get to...
And then you get to...
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's bands during the day, you'll just go out and just boot them off, literally like old-fashioned crook. But
Good.
See ya.
the problem is people's egos get carried away.
Yeah.
You know, they're out there and everyone's, and they think, oh, no, like the crowd are just going to want to see more of us.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, there's a saying, I don't care whether you're David Bowie or the Milkman, just get off on time.
Great.
Well, that's the famous Henry Rollins thing, you know. Yeah.
Did you get to work with Henry Rollins? I'm a big fan. Love
No,
the
I did
guy.
not actually. No.
And he came to New Zealand not that long ago, I think like a couple of months ago.
I've never come across him. Well, anyway, moving on.
You've done-
I would write to management.
Yeah, well, I am management.
Send us out an email. What the hell?
Were you into different forms of arts? How was the thing that drove you to get into live music, and how was a bit of the journey, a bit of Emma's journey?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I started by getting offered a job in a guitar shop or a music shop, but working with guitars in Wellington, because like all these guys used to come into the shop, and it's so like you see in the TV and all that, where they just want to play Stairway to Heaven or Smoke on the Water.
Man. There's even a sign, don't play.
Yeah, and they had no intention of buying the guitars. They just wanted to play the guitars. And the guy who ran the shop got sick of these guys applying for the job. And he just wanted a blank canvas. So he offered me the job because I knew nothing about guitars. And his idea was to teach me from scratch. I think this was more of a project for him than me. I think he liked the idea that A, I had no ego with it, and B, that he could teach someone from scratch. So I started, and he gave me an acoustic guitar and a pitch pipe.
Wow.
You know, nowadays you'd tune a guitar electronically, and he sent me off to tune it. And so I spent my first week in the shop out the back going, peep, twang, peep, twang, peep, twang. And this went on for a week, and I take it back to him and, you know, like, Master, is it in tune? No. Master, did I do good? Peep, twang, peep, twang. But I tell you, that week now, it's, you know, now I can tune guitars without using a guitar tuner, because peep twang.
Peep twang.
Peep twang's where it's at, baby. So then I became a backline tech, and my partner at the time was in a band called Altbays, which were originally the Gordons, which are a flying nun band. They were massive and sort of a cult band in Germany and in the States and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I went off to New York with them as their guitar tech.
Yes.
Looked after the gear and like a roadie. And honestly, when I saw Flight of the Conchords come out, I thought they'd written it about us in New York. It was almost, that was us driving around New York, and, you know, they had a record deal, and yeah, I moved to New York. It was the first place I'd ever gone out of New Zealand. And I moved to Manhattan. It was crazy. Yeah, so we were there for about 10 months. And then we went to Europe, to Koln, and lived in Germany and started touring Europe. Yeah, so that's how it started.
A lot of people have the impression that like small bands go overseas to tour, and when you don't know, it feels like there's a structure, you know, like it's all sorted. It's actually not like that, eh? Classic vans and finding places to crash. Obviously, each case is a case, but when you hear the stories like of how bands started, you just find a way. Hey, you just got to get to the venue and make it happen.
That's right. And it depends on who is looking after you, really, whether you'll be picked up by a record company. I mean, part of the music industry these days can be quite, I don't know, you look at the X Factor and all that stuff, where you just go in a competition, win, and then you're chewed up and then spat out when you're no good. So for that 2 years, everything will be looked after. You don't do all that driving around in a van, getting to gigs. And one of the great autobiographies I read about this is Carl Barat from the Libertines, who was Pete Doherty's band. And they did that, drive in a transit van, go to Paris from London, don't get paid anything, just get paid a few beers, crash on people's floors. But they had this freedom, and it was all about the music. And then as they got into management and started doing well and getting tour managers and entered the machine, it took all that spontaneity and the soul of what they were doing away, and look what happened to them. You know, and it was a really interesting read. And so I took a lot from that book, and I have a thing that I don't infantize band members or artists or whoever I'm working for. You might be there to look after them, but you're not there to wipe their asses. And you've got to watch how many whims that you do, because once a favour and then twice it becomes your job. And yeah, it's no good for them, because then they start throwing tantrums or getting used to it and infantising themselves.
So I guess most people who are listening to us, like, we usually see the band. You know about the the manager, you hear that, oh, the producer. But like, how many people are actually backing up a band that is solid, that releases albums, that tours, that goes to radio stations? How many people are there running? How many people are in that team?
Well, I mean, I can really only comment from my end of it, which is the live end. You know, I don't do records.
Yeah. Good.
I don't deal with that side of stuff. Essentially, what I do is the management, and each band will have an agent, and the agent will book all these shows, and then it comes to me, and I have to make sense of it and work out how we're going to get from A to B, where we're going to stay, what equipment we're going to use. So it's all the logistics past that. So in the bits that I take care of, it depends on the band, and it depends on how much money they're spending. For example, Fat Freddys Drop, who I work for, we don't tour we mainly use local production when we go, say, in Europe. We don't tour our own PA system. I advance in each place and to get consistency. Whereas other acts I work for, you'll take every single thing to make that show. And like, say there's a show I do in the UK called Strictly Come Dancing. Well, there's probably about 70 crew on that one. And then in each city we have to hire a lot of local crew, probably about 80. So I'd be managing 150 people a day, 80 of which are different people every day.
Wow.
It's hard remembering their names. But I give it a good go. You can't just call people mate.
Well, or hey, oi.
Yeah, oi mate. Yeah, no, it's rude. And, you know, I was a stagehand for years, and when people remembered my name, it went a long way, a bit of courtesy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard job. It's long hours, so it's simple. Oh my God, they remembered my name. That's such a nice person.
And when do you have a break? Do you get to watch the show? I think those are the classic questions, right? Do you get to enjoy some parts of the process that the band is working?
Never bloody enjoy the show. You know, you're working, but that's
watching,
you see it every night, and also technically. Something's gone down, or this isn't working, or that's the problem, or that. Oh, it's all going okay. Well, then I'll go and have I don't know, just
Chardonnay.
I'll go and have a glass of water somewhere. But then the show will happen, and then everything has to be packed up and packed away, and a lot of people forget that. I mean, I was doing this show years ago. It was Britain's Got Talent, and you might as well have just pulled 15 stupid people off the street and put stupid hats on them and sent them out there. You know, they didn't have a clue what was going on half the time. We even had a dog on tour, and it had its own dog bowl and catering.
Great.
And
as part of the show.
No, well, it could moonwalk the length of the stage.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's called Gin and Kate.
Wow.
Yeah, it could moonwalk. It was pretty cool. But as the tour went on, the dog started losing focus, all the bright lights.
Yeah.
No word of a lie, that dog actually ended up on a daytime talk show because it was depressed. Is it seriously? Trisha, this show called Trisha. Yeah.
Treasure was depressed.
No, the dog was.
The dog was. Dog. I thought the name of the dog was Treasure.
I'm sure.
Treasure.
Hey, I'm sure Trisha was depressed if that was the level of guest she was getting, eh?
Okay, so how do you determine when a dog, how are you feeling today?
Well, apparently it had lost its confidence. It wasn't moonwalking as much anymore.
Wow.
But anyway, I was digressing. I was actually trying to make a point there about dumb people off the street. Sorry, I'm going to get lynched for that. I was talking about how people don't realise what we do, right? So there's one woman, she came up to me every night and went, "Oh, hello, Emma." And I'd be like, "Hi." And she'd go, "Oh, yeah, what you up to tonight after the show?" And I'd be like, We're loading up. You're going to come for a drink? Well, no, we're working. Oh, it's a shame, innit? and then she'd come up the next night and go, oh, well, hello, Emma. You coming out for a drink tonight after the show? And I've been, no, we're working. Oh, what are you doing then? Well, we're loading out. Oh, you can't come for one drink? No, that's a shame, innit? And then the next night she comes in, she goes, hi, Emma. And I'm like, hi. And she goes, isn't it great? We come to this is we're in here a week. We've been on tour a week now, and everywhere we go, every place we go to, all the lights and everything's the same. I went, yeah, that's because we bloody put it there, you know. She goes, I just thought it was the same everywhere. She goes, oh, no wonder you can't come for a drink. And then the next day she comes in, you coming for a drink tonight, Emma? I was like, no, okay. I thought she's finally bloody got it, but no.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Dealing with people, Emma, it's a skill.
Children and animals. So we had children and animals on that Britain's Got Talent.
So how long did that run for?
Well, what it was it ran annually. Every year it would go on TV, and then the minute it finished on telly, we'd take it out on tour, on a live tour around the UK. So we'd be
Has
like...
momentum, people
Yeah.
tickets.
You have to do it pretty damn quick because 3 weeks later, and then they're just chip fish and chip wrappers. You know, they don't get they start believing their own hype.
Yeah.
There was these two guys.
Wow.
I said to them, "What are you doing after this tour?" And they said, "Oh, I'll probably take a month off." And a month, you'll be like, "You want to cash in, mate, because it's not going to be long."
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So every year that would happen, and the same with Strictly Come Dancing. And I did Dancing on Ice, which was an ice skating.
Yeah, right.
And that was a shocker because we had to, we were touring an ice rink, and you had to set all the lights up above the ice rink. And the amount of people who would fall over and slip over, and anyway, the less said about that, the better. But let's move on.
So about the ice rink.
Do you know,
Sounds quite interesting.
Well, it is interesting. And Torval and Dean, they were teaching me how to surface an ice rink and to ice skate. Oh. But it didn't work because I was like a foal, a newly born foal, in just legs akimbo and all that. But we went. This is an arena in Aberdeen, in North Scotland. And it's been built on a rake. What they call a rake in theatre is when it's on an angle. So a lot of theatres the stage will be like at an angle so that for the seating you can see at the back. But any stage that's on a rake is a nightmare because you put cases on wheels and they just...
Gone.
Yeah. But they built this unbeknownst to us. They'd built the whole bloody building on a rake, right? No. So and then they turned it sideways. So we rock up with our ice rink, which is the length of the arena, and the way you set an ice rink up is you have to flood it, wait for it to freeze, flood it, wait for it to freeze, and that's how you get your surface. And it kept just all going down one end, and it was like, what's going on here? What? No.
Oh, no.
Someone could have told us this, you know.
So how did you fix that one?
Oh, slowly. Yeah, slowly.
You didn't go for a drink after that show either. I'm sure you did not.
There's a lot of alcoholics in this business.
That's something that I was curious about.
Segueing into our next thing. I was taking us away from ice rinks.
Well done. I'm going to bring that back later.
I got a good friend. We're trying to book him to come for a chat. He was the roadie for a lot of heavy metal bands. He's from Spain. Great guy, great drummer. And he was telling me that. He was like, man, you're on the road, you're building, you're helping to set up. And then when the band plays for the roadies, is like a time that you might be able to rest, but like you're under a stage and there's a heavy metal band playing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to rest. And then you're working and then you're taking a pill to stay awake. And then we all know like that there's alcohol and there's all this stuff involved. So like he was like, he had to stop. after a few years.
Yeah.
But he was just telling me of how many friends that he catches up with nowadays that they talk about these things. Wow, how crazy was that? Some of them never recovered from it.
Yeah.
But like the ones who did, they realized, fuck, we got to stop with this. This is insane.
Well, yeah, it's the long hours, I think, that are the kicker, that I think are bad for your health, you know. You do some really long hours. I found over this, I used to party a lot and drink a lot. And, you know, there's a lot of people who think, oh, it's people who go out on the road, all you do is just party and go and, you know, hang out with backstage and party. And it's like, how? Well, yeah, actually, we do. No.
I was going to say.
How dare you? Yeah, well.
Actually.
No. It's always available and accessible to us. And what I've found over the years is that you have to monitor what you know, because every night there's a party. Yeah. And actually, for someone like me, it just gets boring after a while, you know. It's like, oh, people come to see the band or the show and they want the band to go partying with them. They want to have that accolade of, yeah, we went out partying with it. And it's a lot of pressure on the band. The crew just end up having to go along to look after the band. These people don't want the crew there.
Yeah.
You're just collateral in there. Yeah. But over the years, I've had to really self-regulate that. And also it comes with just having been at so many parties that actually, as I get older, I can't drink as much as I used to, and I don't want to when it's there every night. It's just, no, I'm back in the bus having a cup of tea, you know, or something like that. But it does take its toll. There's people that aren't like me, that just like your friend or people that just can't deal with it. They have to remove themselves from the situation.
Yep.
And I get that too.
Interesting, the thing with not commitment, but like there's this thing, well, the band has to go to the party because people are expecting them to be there, eh?
Yeah.
You don't think of that, eh? You just think of like, oh, how cool. You played and then you go to a party and I'm like, man, when you finish playing, there's a peak of adrenaline, but then there's a drop.
Yep.
Yeah, and also we get days off. Like we're on tour and we get a day off, and like say we're touring in Europe, you know, you could be doing 2 months of touring and you've just done 3 shows in a row and you know tomorrow you've got a day off in, well, let's just pick somewhere, Brussels, and you've got a nice hotel room and a nice bed and you're tired. But yet you might know people in Brussels or someone's from the venue or whatever. They, oh, we've arranged a boat trip or we've arranged this or we've arranged a meal or we're all going out to do this. And people are constantly arranging things that are actually really great things to do. And like, oh, some of the times I haven't gone out and it's just like, what a spoilt brat. You know, oh, we're going on a boat trip now. Oh, but I'm tired. And I think also for the band too. You know, it's just daily they get invited places and people don't understand that this is a day, you know, we can't do it every day or you don't want to. Yeah, especially when you get older.
What places are at the top of your list? Cool places, good vibes, always a cool place to go, cool party, cool people, made good friends.
Ice rinks.
Iceland.
Aberdeen. Hi, Aberdeen. We have had some good times in Copenhagen. Yeah, I work for lots of different acts and bands and comedians and stuff, but I do a lot with Fat Freddys, and one of the guys in the band he's an amazing chef, and he is always hooking up with chefs around the world and organising nights in the restaurant in exchange for a guest list. And I am very much a benefactor of this arrangement. Oh my God. So there's this amazing restaurant in Copenhagen. It's like one of the best restaurants in the world. I can't remember its name. That's terrible. But we went there and they gave us a private room and they make everything on site. And A lot of it's to do with food, really. A lot of the nice places are food. There's this venue in Toulouse, in France, called Le Bikini.
Le Bikini.
Yeah, Le Bikini, and they have a swimming pool backstage. You know, there's a couple of flamingos hanging around and stuff, and the guy who owns it, he's like cooking us these just like tomahawk steaks on a fireplace while we're sitting poolside waiting to play the gig and then drinking almanac. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I remember. It's usually to do with food.
But that's cool how like it's about the connections, right? For them it's cool. For the chefs, for the people from the restaurants, it's cool. For the band, it's cool.
Yeah.
To connect.
Yeah.
It's the human thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you didn't mention anything about like the fame and that. No, it's about like connecting with the right places and the right people and understanding that we're all important in this.
I'm just going to give one more shout out. I've just remembered on our last
please.
tour, we went to Galway, and there's this really cool woman called Jess who owns a restaurant called Kai in Galway.
Wow.
So she's a Kiwi, and she does the Kai restaurant is New Zealand kind of food.
Wow.
So she came down, and for our gig there, we were doing in a big top, like a marquee, so it was sort of outdoors, and did a barbecue for us before the show. And this isn't normal for her. She's not going to come and do catering for all their shows. She just wanted to impress Fat Freddys Drop, and by proxy me.
Nice.
And honestly, that food was just incredible. Thanks, Jess.
Shout out.
Yeah. So if anyone's in Galway, definitely go to Kai. But that was just, and it was the thing of bringing a barbecue to Kiwis. You know, we go into all these shows, and sure, we're in Germany and we have these great sort of schnitzels and this and that, but it was outdoors. It was a barbecue. It was just, the whole atmosphere was fantastic.
Homely.
Yeah, and also the Irish.
Yeah, cool.
You know, they're cool, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, so they are. That was a terrible
It wasn't bad, actually.
Here we go.
No, it wasn't great.
So it was. I know, actually, I kept doing that and I got told off by the singer saying, oh, you got to stop doing that, you know. Because, yeah, I just couldn't help. I didn't even realise I was doing it.
Yeah,
actually, while I was there.
I was off on a rant one night going, oh, it's working great. Yeah, no, it sounds great. Ah, rah, rah. And my friend turned around to me and went, you've really got to fucking stop, because you're making us sound like fucking leprechauns.
Oh, fucking Egypts. You should have said, well, you don't sound like a leprechaun, you sound like an Egypt.
So I kind of got to watch Father Ted a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Was it Father Ted? No.
Father Ted.
Well, this segues nicely into another job I did, which was I worked on Riverdance for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was before it became famous. It was when it first started, when Michael Flatley was still in it. And, well, actually,
Fresh.
like the first shows.
Yeah, nice.
And I remember talking to my dad saying, oh, I've got this job with an Irish dance show. And, we were rehearsing, and he was like, whoa, keep trying and you might get a better job. And it just went off. For 3 years I was on tour with that show. And it was great. We're lovely people. And we used to, God, talk about a travelling circus, you know.
Yeah. How loud was it when they performed?
Which part? The band or the...
The whole lot.
Well, it depends how loud you turn them up.
No, it's
how loud do you want to be? Hang on. Which one's
not
Roy's
loud at
button?
all of them.
Do you know how audio works, Roy?
Okay, hang on. Let's come back.
Come back.
Riverdance was the
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you watching at home, he was tapping his feet then.
For the listeners.
I like to tap my feet, So if you were sitting in front of the show watching it, It just, on video, it looks like it was really fucking loud.
Yeah, well, I suppose I shouldn't really let you into the secret here. But
Alrighty.
Here we go.
it was, they had mics on the stage, but it was also pre-recorded and then weaved into
Wow.
them dancing too.
All right.
Okay.
Like a backtrack kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a,
Yeah, okay.
Which was no good if someone missed their entry. I think I had to get to mute really quickly. Mute. So, in answer to your question, so it would seem loud because
It's, yeah.
it wasn't cheated. It was just enhancing to actually highlight what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but they had all these amazing musicians, you know, because what happened was that Riverdance started off with this great cast and group of musicians, and they were the hottest musicians in Ireland. But then as the show split, then they needed another show to go to Canada and another show, so they got watered down a bit.
Right.
But also there were a lot of the musicians in the show who, this was a great gig for them because, as a lot of musicians will know, getting a gig like that, a good paying gig is, this is, guaranteed money here. But after playing the same thing every night for months and months, it stifled their creative veins, and it was like, not sure I'm really digging this anymore. So, but we all used to, after the show, we all used to go to the pub and they'd all bring in their violins and their drums and the dancers and stuff. Sometimes you just want to say, give it a rest, would you guys? We just finished.
Oh, cool.
Well, there was this really interesting night where we were actually at the Edinburgh Playhouse in, funnily enough, Edinburgh, when there was a bomb scare and we had to evacuate the entire company had to evacuate the building just before the first half, and they were all in their Riverdance costumes. We're talking, there was about probably 60 people, and we all had to race out to a car park, and it was raining really heavily. And the poor wardrobe people, because they're responsible for all the costumes, right? And everyone's outside in the road. They cordoned off the street. And we weren't allowed back in. It was a serious, coded bomb scare, which is kind of strange that the IRA were coming in with that. So a lot of them, because they were in fact, most of them, because they were in their costumes, had no jackets, coats, money, wallets, keys. We were all staying in apartments, keys. Crazy. Well, I did, because I was sitting in a control booth and had put my jacket on, and I heard on the radio first what was going on and given the call for some people to come down. They're at the top of the building and that. So we get out there and I realise that I'm the only one with any money. These are Irish people who really like to drink. I shouldn't say they really like to drink. I said, let's go to... Right, guys.
The world does.
Right. What we need to do here is stop panicking, everyone. Let's go to the nearest bar and get a drink and we'll decide what to do, because the cop said, no, you're not going to get back in tonight. So no one could get home, right? So we go to this bar and I was like, right, who wants a... Oh, everyone wants a drink. Anyway, so we bought some drinks and it was decided that everyone would come back to my apartment for the night. It was quite a big apartment, but it was the weirdest thing because I literally had every single dancer from Riverdance in their costume asleep on my lounge or having like a sleepover.
In their costumes.
I know, and the wardrobe people were there too, having conniptions, going, no, just take that off. Have you got anything you can lend them? Honestly, we were locked out of the building. We didn't get back in the building till late the next evening.
So did you...
Oh, well, it cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was a great host, though.
Yeah. Wow.
I was a great host.
I'm sure they love you. I'm sure they tell that story.
Oh, yeah.
With a lot of passion, I'm sure.
Yeah, they do. I used to have a nickname on Riverdance. They called me Bloody Emma. bloody Emma brought us the drinks.
Great. The Irish. Shout out to the Irish people.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was fun though. But after 3 years, that was enough. It was great times.
Do you because I believe it goes like with tours. So for example, Europe, summer, so then it's time, Fat Freddys, and then do you have projects line up, or now they're like you've been doing for a long time, I guess it's easier, but like in the past, would it be a thing of like whatever it's happening, I'm jumping in, or and that's how you got to do so many different projects and work with so many different people, or you always had an idea of what was coming, the next project that you were jumping in?
Oh, you get offered things. You know, I can't remember the last time when I had to use a CV. You just get, you know, obviously I've got a great reputation.
Especially buying drinks for the Irish.
Yeah, exactly.
Bloody Emma.
We're going to bring her back.
That's the CV. It dripped. Fucking bloody Emma written huge. That's my CV.
Yeah, no, you just, you know, I get offered jobs, and, you know, I used to take pretty much everything that came my way, but now I definitely pick and choose because I'm just getting lazy, really. It's funny, It's like you spend so much of your life trying to be good at something and getting to the top of what you're doing, and then when you do, you're like, oh, I can't be bothered doing that anymore.
Give me the comedian. Give me that one guy to look after.
Oh, that's what I do. I do
One
those.
guy, one camera, one light.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled.
yeah?
I went into comedy, right? I got offered. So I got into comedy from this guy I used to work for who was quite annoying. Everyone thought he was annoying. So I was the only one who'd worked for him, and then he got this massive promotion. So did I. I took, you know, that was great. Oh, great. It was nice to him. And it was into comedy, but it was when comedy had become like the new rock and roll in the UK, massive. Like comedians.
Right.
Like I worked for a comedian who outsold Beyonce at an arena. It was
Wow.
like, so you've got, you know, these TV comedians, Miranda, Bill Bailey, Tim Minchin, people like this, you know. So the first one I did was Tim Minchin. And
He takes a concert with him.
well,
right?
that wasn't it. I didn't know that at the time I agreed to it. You know, like Roy was just saying, I thought, you'll be a bloke and a microphone. You know, I was going, this comedy lark's going to be a bit of all right, isn't it? You know, like, yeah, none of that, you know, 10-piece band and, you know, all that crap. So anyway, I say, oh, yeah, I'll do that. And it was quite a long tour. And then they say, oh, yeah, he's taking a 38-piece orchestra on tour. It's like, you what?
Damn.
I did. I got all English. Like, you what? You're having a laugh, mate. Right, and then there was a grand piano, and then there was a band.
No.
And honestly, it turned into, right, yeah, it was massive. So don't be fooled.
Yeah.
I just recently did a tour with Steve Coogan, doing one of his TV characters, Alan Partridge, and we had 55 crew on that, you know, video. It's because if you're going into a huge space, like an arena with a comedian, they need to, it's not like stand-up, they're too far away from the audience, so you need video, you need what we call IMAG screens, which are the cameras that get put up on the screen so you can see the facial expressions, things like that. So actually, it's massive. So it's not quite what I had in mind.
What we had.
Well, and me at the time too.
River dance.
Yeah. I know. Wallace, forgive and take me back. I'll buy you all another drink.
I hope it fucking rains.
Yeah.
So, what is the biggest show that you've worked on?
As in audience.
Yep, as in size and the band.
Well, I worked on Glastonbury Festival. That's
It's pretty massive.
That's massive.
Yeah.
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 But then again, I've like worked on, probably the festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Glastonbury's the biggest one in the world. Yeah. that's what I was saying about, you work hard all your life to get to a point. And then I got offered Glastonbury Festival. They rang me up. They rang me up and they said, well, we have a problem with Glastonbury. Too many egos. It's the biggest festival in the world. When people get offered this production job, the egos, we've had real problems with egos. So we had a meeting the other day, and out of all the names that came up, yours was the least dickish. I was like, what?
Wow.
Sorry? And they
Straight
said,
up?
yeah, you were the least dickish out of everyone that came
Whoa.
up. I went, oh, stop, you're flattering me here. So, got and then, COVID came in. It was 50th anniversary for Glastonbury, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually going to have to do the work now. And then COVID hit, and I was like, damn.
Bummer.
Yeah, I mean, those would be an answer to your question. If you're standing on a stage looking out, they'll be the big ones.
Wow.
Or stadium shows,
Yeah.
Just trying to think if I don't know. No one's ever asked me what's the smallest show you've ever done.
Well, that was next.
That was next. That was
And was it during like an ice skating tour? Or?
This is it.
Because I guess some acts, they get so big that then they go and do the intimate shows. I remember Stu was telling me that when Prince came to New Zealand, there was like this tiny little intimate venue.
So Prince, so he came and did 21 nights in London, and my job was I was working on the after show parties, and they were incredible. I mean, Prince he's a pretty weird guy, but the musicianship cannot be faulted. And I'd watch Prince they'd be sound checking. He had like Maceo Parker playing sax in his band. Maceo is arguably one of the best sax players in the world, and they'd be running a song and Prince would go, hey Maceo, don't play the sax line like that, play it like this, and he'd take the sax off Maceo and just bust out this sax line, which would Maceo, and you'd just be thinking, oh God, why does he have to be so good at everything?
Wow.
But these after shows he had, I think they were his real time of freedom. The arena show was his songs, when we went round to the club round the corner, he would play, like he'd say, tonight I'm just going to play Stevie Wonder, and he'd just keep Renato, his keyboard player, amazing keyboard player, Renato Neto, and he'd just do
Sounds
Stevie
like a
Wonder
Brazilian
songs.
name,
Yeah,
Renato
he is.
Neto.
He is. Yeah, he was amazing. You should Google him.
I will.
Brazil, bro.
And then the next night he'd play Hendrix, and Prince would just hit it with the guitar and play Hendrix like out Hendrix, And he had all these guests come down. Like, I mean, one of my favourite was Beverly Knight. I just think she's incredible. But Wino was there, and Amy Winehouse, and all these different, all these different guests. And it was when I think he was his happiest, just jamming.
Was there? Yeah.
Jamming.
Yeah, nice.
Jamming.
Yeah, just jamming with these amazing musicians and
Yeah.
doing what he felt.
Doing what he loved.
Yeah.
No, sorry, you go, please.
And then he, for the end of the tour party, he hired out, like the city hall was like think it was 3 levels of bowling alleys and dodgem cars and all this, right? And he had this little roped off area. Like he was at the party, but he was odd, and he had like this little tensor barrier around him. Not like you could just walk over it, but just to denote that was his space. And we went on the dodgem cars, and it was the weirdest thing because his security came up and went, hey, don't go banging into P. And like, it's dodgem cars. whole time not to bang into him and completely failing, and them like having conniptions. And I kind of felt like he was the wheezy kid at school that mum wouldn't let him play football. That was,
Awesome.
Don't bang into Pete.
Oh, it was really funny and weird and odd, but you know, that's probably one of the better things I've worked on, just for the musicianship.
Nice.
I was that's what I was thinking, like just the names that you said now for me is just like, wow, like can you go higher than that? But can you have you worked with like someone that you were looking at and you were like, whoa, wow, yeah, like professional, but you were like,
Yeah, I can. So I got a job years ago working for Sesame Street on roller skates. Big Bird, man. Like I have I have never been starstruck in my life, right? But Big Bird on roller skates, man, when that bird, like he glided up like a god, and he's massive, and I was like, oh. Right, that's the first and only time I've been starstruck, and then it all went horribly wrong. So it turned out that...
Did he say no?
No. No, well, okay. Let's start off with, it turned out that there was actually a guy in a suit. Like, big, you know. Yeah, so it shattered one illusion, right? But not only that, the guy in the suit was a bit weird. And so he'd skate up to me and open his beak, and he just like done this really horrible fart, and then he'd skate up and open this beak, and the whole thing would go at you, and it was like, yeah, Big Bird.
wow, took you up and down very quickly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It took me, I've never quite been in that same space with Big Bird anymore.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, but you know, when you work over in the UK and particularly in London, you pretty much end up working with so many people because it's the hub of music, and any rehearsals, all the big companies there. So, you know, I've worked for some giants.
Did you get to meet Bowie?
Yeah, I did, and I wasn't going to. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, we don't need. Well, I had a job working on this show called TFI Friday, which was a sort of fun end of week show hosted by this guy called Chris Evans, and they'd have a few bands and then sort of funny things they'd do, and I worked on the stage. So we had 3 different stages, and they got some real big hitters. I mean, Prince came and played that too, and you know, there were some big acts, and Bowie was one of them. And so yeah, I remember that I had to take something into his dressing room. My memory is saying a wig, but I can't think why. And I remember walking in there, and it was just me and him, and he was reading the paper. And I was like, what do I say? And then I chose not to say anything, because you've got to remember that when you're backstage, that's your happy place. The minute you leave there, people, oh, can I have your order? You know, and the minute you show any submissiveness like that, you lose your cool or your edge of working for that person, and that's you don't want to. At the end of the day, we're all people, and some of us are musicians, and some of us are dentists, and some of us. It doesn't mean that someone should be idolized in my eyes. Idolized is the wrong word. You can admire them, but when you work with them, if you start wanting photos or this and that, then they're not going to respect you as much or your opinions. They're going to start mistrusting why you're there. So So anyway, I put the wig down and walked off.
Very slowly. Put the wig down. And a good look
Evening,
at
Mr.
him.
Bowie, sir.
Click, click, click.
I think it's enough just to be delivering a wig to a room with him. I
Pretty
think that's
cool.
enough.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you find that Kiwis, when they are around, stars, movie stars, rock stars, whatever, do you find that they're more grounded than other nationalities? I just find that
I know what you're saying, and but I don't know whether that's because I am one, and usually when I'm with my kind.
Yeah.
Like, Fat Freddys, really grounded, great band.
Mm-hmm.
There's no divas in the band or
Yeah,
anything
nice.
like that, and I do find that.
Yep.
There's not that many New Zealand acts that work on an international level that I've worked with, though.
Yeah, right.
What if we flip now, instead of talking about the stars and the big side, the crazy audience, the crazy people
Nice.
going after the stars, and you're there, you're trying to work, because I guess you end up dealing with the audience as well, right?
Yeah, it's weird. They bring things.
Oh,
There's this, like,
True.
bake cakes and make T-shirts and stuff, and it's quite sweet.
but it won't
can't-
fit in one bus, right? A tour around the world.
Well, you can't eat things that...
Yeah.
Like, if someone's baked a cake,
You don't know.
you don't know what's in that
Yeah.
damn cake.
That's right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Could you get a sniffer dog? Would that work?
Well, it could have anything in it, though.
Yeah,
It could
totally.
have, it's sad. It's a sad indictment of the, It's kind of awkward when you see people throwing themselves at bands too, It's sort of, I find it a bit cringe. Tend to stay away from that stuff, comedy's different. The fans there are like, they're a bit odd.
They bring joints instead of food. They bring-
They're just sort of a bit nerdier.
right.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, I was working for one comedian and I had to go outside, go to the stage door after the show and take photos of him with all the fans lining up. And there was one guy who had a T-shirt which had a photo on the T-shirt of the last time he was at a stage door. And then holding a photo of the time before that
No.
Funny.
when he was at the stage door waiting for the guy, and then I'm taking another photo, and it's like this vortex of him waiting at stage doors.
It's pretty cool. It's
That
creative.
is very...
Yeah, and it was like sort of trying to, that was weird.
Yeah.
And and then the next guy in the line had made a cushion for the person with a photo of their younger brother on it. Like their younger, not the comedian's younger brother.
But their own younger brother.
Yeah,
Wow.
who he'd never met, or just coming up with that concept.
Yes. Do you remember doing some?
It's like, come on, retreat.
Because they want to find.
Thank you. Okay, start the engine.
They want to find a connection. They want to find a connection. They want to find a way to be part of that person's life in a way, or who knows?
Yeah, well, that's a weird
Yeah,
way,
it
though.
is,
Here's my
yes,
younger brother.
yes.
There's another one I worked for. I didn't care for him too much. I was doing a tour of the Highlands. We'll leave names out at this point.
What's his name?
And this woman started stalking us through the Highlands, throwing giant pencils at him.
Blow up pencils, obviously.
No. Like, when you go to an airport and they've got... No, you go to an airport and it'll be like, say you're at Amsterdam airport and there's a giant pencil with Amsterdam
I was there
written on
yesterday.
it.
Yeah.
Or Auckland then.
Yep.
Or, I don't know, is there an airport there? There's a tiny airport. I don't think Wanaka Airport
With their big pencils.
has giant pencils, but they should do.
Yeah, very cold place.
Maybe I'll start taking pencils to the masses
Yeah,
and then
I
bring this guy down. Anyway, let me tell you the story. So, yeah, this like super fan, who was clearly a bit deranged, started stalking us. It's not difficult when you can look at tour dates. And we had this tour going around the Highlands. And anyway, first day I picked him up. It was just me and him. And we got to the gig and we were just standing there talking outside by the stage door, and thonk, this giant pencil hit him in the head. I was like, Jesus, what the hell was that? Oh, for God's sakes. But we couldn't see who'd thrown it. I was like, okay, so I picked the pencil up, So a couple of nights later, he was on stage in Glasgow at this theatre, and she was in the audience, and one hit him in the head while he was in the middle of the show. He came running to the side of the stage. I was going, oh, Jesus Christ, that could have got me in the eye. Oh, I'm not going back out. And he had this massive meltdown. And then a few days later, we were in Inverness. Fuck, another one hit him. Like, we were just getting out of the car, and then we realised that actually this was quite an issue. So anyway, the last night, where were we? Oh, Dunfermline or somewhere weird. And he said, oh, I'll take you for dinner as it's our last night. And so we went into this restaurant and he ordered a 3-course meal for both of us. And then he got all shifty, worrying about a pencil being thrown at him. And he goes, actually, I'm going to go back to the theatre to my dressing room, which was just across the road. So bring all the food over when it's ready. But it was in courses, and it was like, that was him taking me out for dinner. And I was like, oh, thanks. So he walked off, and I saw him walk outside. And I sat at the table, and I saw a pencil. And I was like, well, that'll serve you right, mate.
You should have stayed at the table.
Seriously. Honestly, yeah. I thought, well, that serves you right. So I had to drive all the way back down to Edinburgh, and I dropped him at his house, and he goes, oh, hang on, I've got something for you. It was last night, It's traditional to give a little envelope of money, little tour bonus there, and he fidgets around in his bag, and he pulls this pencil out, like one that he'd picked up off the ground, because I remember him waving at me. I think it had Amsterdam written on it, saying this could have taken my eye out. And I'm like, wow. So he walked off, and I walked back to the car. I saw him walking up to his house, and I thought, well, I'm never going to work for him again. Have some of that. Add that to your collection, funny boy.
Great. Wow. You've seen some shit. Yeah. You've seen some crazy shit there, man.
Yeah.
That is funny. Take that, you twat.
Okay,
yeah.
Now you told me the crazy fan stories, but tell me something cool that you've done for a fan.
Oh.
Come on. Never threw a pick or a drumstick. Or like, no.
No. Oh, yeah, that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff, but nothing like, no.
I just want to ask Taylor, did you take a snapshot of her look just then?
Nah. She went through a few years of on the road.
Yeah.
Actually, not really. No, not really.
Well, I threw a pencil at someone for the fan.
Wow. So good. Fucking great. Emma, before we started, you told us a beautiful story about a connection with your father. So you spent a lot of time away from home, right? We always hear the artists telling those stories. Oh, like I don't get to see my family, but they are in a different position that I feel like, you correct me if I'm wrong, probably they get the best money from everyone else. They can afford probably more time off and spend more time with the family, but there's a crew that needs to be away. So how do you deal with all that, those feelings and emotions?
Yeah, it's like you miss every single wedding or birthday or whatever, because you can never say, yes, I'm going to be here or available on that day, because tours, you go away for 3 months with that. You can't take a day off to go and do those things. So you do sacrifice a lot of time with your family or with people because you can't commit to anything, and you become quite aloof in that respect. On the plus side, I can work for a month and then I can take 2 months off.
Yep.
So I think, a lot of people who have families and kids and all that, it's a different kind of time they get to spend with them. It's just all or nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard though. Recently coming back here and then COVID and suddenly being in one place for a while, a very, very dear friend of mine close to me and where I live has been going through a terrible ordeal with cancer. And I've been in a position for the first time in many, many years to be a full support to that person, to go to every appointment, couldn't do that before because you'd go to 1 or 2 appointments and then you'd be gone for, and see it through from diagnosis to treatment and it's been great to be able to be that person for someone.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're doing really well now. So that's a good outcome too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll be doing this for the rest of your life?
Well, I did say I was going to come off the road when I was 50, and I'm 52.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think I'll ease back a lot. It's tiring and it's hard work, and I have travelled for, more than 20 years, and now I have a house and somewhere to actually nurture. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, nice.
I'm working back in New Zealand now. I'm starting projects here, but I'm being very picky about which ones, not saying yes to everything because I don't want to work all the time. And I'm exploring other avenues. Like I wrote a book during COVID, which was a commission from the government for children in isolation. My friend got the commission and she asked me to write it, and I was like, well, I don't have kids and I've never written a book.
Sounds like me.
Sounds like the right person for the job. But I did it, and it did really well, actually. It did really well, and it was kind of quite Dr. Seussy. It's nice. And it was helping kids, relieving anxiety. They found that kids were going into these managed isolations and being scared. There were guards there and stuff like that. So,
what's the name of the book?
It's called Birds of a Bubble.
Birds of a Bubble.
Yeah, it's like so when families came into the country, that every family would get given a copy of this book for the kids, and it sort of explained, that they had Wi-Fi or that they could order food in, or just how they could do things in a friendly way. Like it was a family of birds coming in, so the hotel room was their nest. And,
wow.
Yeah, and there was a little bird next door in the room next door called Sticky Beak who wants to play, but he's not allowed to, just sort of, and it was cute. And, I'd sort of do measurements like 2 meters, because if you say to a kid, how it was all that distancing 2 meters, if you say to a kid, they're going to know what 2 meters is.
Yeah.
So I'd say 2 meters is the same as the height of a door, or a little bit added to Richie McCaw.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so just little things that that you could,
because they would relate to it.
Yeah, or 80 cream eggs, or a standing giraffe just the neck, not the legs.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the strength of doing that, I got offered a publishing deal to write more books. So I'm kind of wanting to explore that, but I can incorporate that with my work anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know of a great editor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. In Kuatunu. She's great.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Can you tell me the story about the poems, or it's something that you're saving for?
Yeah, that's fine. So, the first book that I'm having published is actually not my work. It's my father's. So he's written me a poem every week since I was 5, which is just gorgeous. I mean, that's a lot of poems. And I still get them every week now. He's in his 80s now, but every week I get a poem from him, a text, bing, bing, every Saturday morning.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And so I've decided to release or publish a collection of those poems as a love letter back to my dad, because he's getting on now and I want him to see these poems published, because they are good poems, you know, and they should be. And we've got a great illustrator, and I've been reading these poems to my friends for years, and everyone loves the poems, you know, they're funny.
Especially when you know the story behind it, eh?
Yeah.
What a powerful thing, right?
Yeah.
The family connection.
Yeah. I could, shall I say one of the poems?
Yes.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. Oh, I have to think of one now. Oh, just a quick one. My pussy and my bird have had a fatal spat. I left the cage door open and the eagle ate the cat.
How old were you when you got that one?
Wow. Please come back when the book is out.
Oh,
Let's talk
yeah,
about
no,
the book.
definitely. Well,
Yes.
it's not too far off now. So,
Amazing.
I mean, I've got thousands of poems to pick from, so the plan is to keep going with more volumes of the book.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, the poems are good.
That's cool. That's cool. And I guess because you've been working with these creatives for such a long time, you get to see that happening, right? It's like I believe you've seen like amazing things. Maybe you've seen hits being written in the corner of a bus. You might not even know that it was a hit, but you've spotted that moment of someone just stopping or doing something or thinking about something or just taking a note. And how
Yeah,
crazy.
didn't even know it was happening.
Didn't even know
Yeah.
it was happening. It was just happening.
Yeah, it's weird because I am lucky. I've had a good time with it, and I've travelled the world and you know, done some great things. But ultimately, it's work too. You know,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
people. I bumped into someone at the shop recently, and they said, "Oh, you're back," because I sort of turn up, don't I? And
Yep,
then
you sure
don't
do.
see me for months,
Yep.
and then you're back. And they said, "Oh, how was your holiday?" And I said, "Oh, well, no, I was working. I was working for 5 weeks, and then I went down to Italy for 2 weeks." And they said, "Ah, yeah, but you don't really work, do you?" And I was like, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do work. Yeah, but you just get to go to all these fabulous places. Still working."
Still working.
There's more than one
And it does
mic,
become
one
work.
light.
And so recently, this is funny, I was at this festival in Secret Garden Party in the UK. It's a fabulous festival, you know, there's all sorts of shenanigans going on, and I was trying to watch Coronation Street and catch up backstage. You know, you think backstage, people are like, "Oh, if I could come backstage," you know. And I'm on. We have tour buses, and how we travel is these buses are quite comfortable. You know, they're well set up, and you have bunks on them and lounges and all that. But there was something wrong with the AC on the bus, and it was quite warm. So I was trying to get Coronation Street up and catch up. It's not happening on the bus because it's too hot. So I wrote the driver, who was asleep, a surly text about the AC. It was like such a first world problem, mate. Well, the AC is too hot. So now I'm going to have to go and watch Coronation Street somewhere else. So I go around, and then I get close to this router where I can get the Wi-Fi, because at festivals it's always sketchy and all that. And around there's all these nettles and there's an old tin and, you know, I'm like, get it all set up. I'm like, right, no one can find me. Right, it's working. Yeah. Right. And start it when the Brighton's gay men choir came off stage, and I didn't realise I was near their dressing room, and they all came off all shrieking, "Oh, fabulous!" All the sea of guys in pink shirts saying how fabulous they were and taking photos. And I was looking at, guys, I'm trying to watch Coronation Street here, if you don't mind. So then I sent another surly text to the driver going, "Well, I'm still not able to watch Coronation Street as I'm sitting round the corner in some nettles being disturbed by the Brighton Gay Men's Choir. So thank you very much for ruining my afternoon." So that's me. That's how rock and roll I am.
So did you eventually catch up with
No, not then.
Coronation
No.
Street?
Well, thank you for asking that. That's the best. That is one of the. That was the most gripping question this week. No, I never got to find out what happened at the Rovers that day. And that's still a bone of contention for me, really.
I would find that very traumatic.
Yeah, I suppose that bus driver, you know, down at the job centre now and all that, trying to.
Bastard.
Yeah, well, he's gone.
Should have had that fucking pencil. Come here, you bastard!
He's probably in Aberdeen building ice rinks.
Nice.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Do you get to have you brought people to the Coromando? I believe you're very connected. You told me that you studied at the Magri Bay Area School. That you
Yeah, I did. And just before I answer that, I have caught up with Coronation Street since.
Boom.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just in case anyone, I know that people would be really worried there.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. She didn't.
great.
Yeah, people have come over and visited, and you know, I've got my house here, and I have a little guest cottage, and I've had people come and write music there, and
Nice.
and write albums there, and I've had, you know, most of the Fat Freddys guys have come up at some time or another, and yeah, it's really nice actually having friends, and of course we have Luke's down the road, Luke's Kitchen. Big up to Luke.
Shout out to Luke.
Luke's coming.
Actually, it's open mic night on Sunday.
Oh,
there you
open
go,
mic
there you
night
go.
at Luke's Kitchen. There you go.
And we do have Luke's coming to the show at some stage. I'm gonna keep that date. I'll save it. But yeah, it's happening.
Yeah,
Boom, boom.
you just want to get some pizzas out of him.
Well, don't ruin it, Emma. Shush.
Luke, if you're listening.
Come on. There's a whole strategy behind
Hey,
getting the pizza.
don't invite us on that night. We get sick of them, don't we? That blue ginger stuff was much better.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Actually, Luke, bring fish and chips.
Yeah.
Luke, can you stop at Blue Ginger? Luke, on your way up.
Tacos, please.
By the way, blueginger.co.nz.
I quite like those kumara chips he does. They're nice.
Yes.
I've never actually had them.
Yeah, well, they're good. Bring some of them, Luke.
Luke's Kitchen. Beautiful food, eh? Oh my God.
I think we're quite fortunate to live in a little community that we have a choice of all of these different types
pizza?
of kai that we have.
Well, I went to Wellington for the weekend and I went to my friend's house. She said, I'm going to get some pizzas in tonight. I said, please don't.
Great.
Has she been up here?
Yeah, so,
friend?
yeah, well, they just forget. Like, it's
Yeah.
No, Luke, don't. Luke, your pizzas are good, bro. It's just... Kumara chips are also nice, just saying.
Jam night on Sunday, Roimata. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, open mic night. Open mic
mic.
night at or jam night. Yeah, at Luke's Kitchen. Starting at you'll have to ring because I kind of forget what time we start. We start when I start.
Sometime in the afternoon for sure.
Yeah. 5 o'clock, I think it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
And thanks to Blue Ginger, how was that kai? Good food?
Come on, eh?
Yeah.
Bit spicy?
Yeah.
Nah.
Was good?
Yeah,
Roy,
it was great.
Roy thought
Roy,
so,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit soft when it comes
Yeah,
to
exactly.
spice,
No, I thought it was. I like the buns,
Yes.
They were good.
Yes.
Korean flavour.
Korean flavor. If you are coming to the Coromandel, make sure to check out blueginger.co.nz. Beautiful fusion food. Back since 2, and Zara and the whole team. Amazing. Thank you so much. Emma, how cool, man. Wow, I guess like you can tell stories for days, eh? I think I'm gonna
is that the time?
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking
I
like
need to get to my Scrabble night. It's Coronation Street night.
I'm just thinking. What I'm thinking, I'm like, if I start going to all the places that I want to go because of all the things that you've done, we're just gonna be here forever. You've done some cool stuff.
Yeah, especially if I tell it in real time. So then I boarded the plane.
When was the time that you thought that you would die? Don't say that it was the overheating aircon on the bus, that it was too hot. It's like,
Or the pencil.
or the pencil.
Oh yeah, the pencil.
Or the ice skating
That's
rink.
full on. The pencil is full on, must say.
Skating rink was just annoying. That wasn't like a thing. No, I don't think I went down to the Falkland Islands on a military plane to do shows for the troops, and we had to go by helicopter to different radar stations. There are only 10 people at each one, and we'd have to stay the night, and the choppers would drop us off. And you'd know everyone in the audience's name. You'd say, we'll start when Dave comes back from the toilet. And they issued us all with a sleeping bag because they said if the chopper went down that you'd be able to survive if you had a sleeping bag. I was thinking,
Wow.
yeah, we probably got more issues than that. But that was so cool. My God. I mean, who gets to go to the Falkland Islands and go around it by chopper? I don't think they even have civilian flights down there.
I don't know. Hey,
So that was probably, that was pretty, well, it wasn't, I didn't think I was going to die. I was just excited by it. I was just telling that story because it was exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like. I was thinking more about like when you hear stories from bands or like the crew going to countries that they don't speak the language, and then the deal that they thought they did was not the deal, and then you show up to a place that it just looks a bit, if something like that.
A bit rubbish.
Yeah.
We went to Johannesburg, and I thought that was an odd place. That's just more from a traveller's point of view, really. What an intense place to live. Have any of you guys been there?
No.
It's just like you get in off the airport, you start driving in, and every single house or compound has barbed wire fencing and electric fences, and I just think, what a way to live. And they said to us, right, you're going to stay in this compound in a hotel where there's, a couple of restaurants. And I was like, I don't want to, stay within the gates and you can't go out. But then once I got there, I was like, oh, yeah, I won't go out. And I found that a little bit odd.
Yeah.
We went to Cape Town and I saw someone getting shot in the street, and I just found it quite frightening. Probably that. But no, I've never really, I don't know, just take things in your stride, don't you? Strength in numbers too sometimes. I don't know. I've never really, 99% of people in the world are cool, right? Just don't go out of your comfort. If you know that an area is dangerous or something, then don't go wandering down, just be careful.
Yep.
But generally people are cool.
Yes.
Keep your wits about you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I've never really felt threatened or scared.
It relates to South America. I can see a lot of the places being like that. Yeah, it's a big part of our reality. Just seeing like the big gates, and then it shows the discrepancies, like the social issues. You know, like how many people think that they live a great life, but they are the ones in the prison
That's
most
right.
of the time. You know,
Yeah.
like they
That's
are the
right.
ones in those little
Yeah,
corners.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, I've never really spent much time in South America or much time in Africa, and I think these are the places which would have the biggest. Mind you, America, there's places there which are.
More so now.
Yeah.
But you're right. You've nailed it right there. Is they've created a world where now they're stuck in the box.
Yeah.
Yep. And I couldn't imagine living in an area where you're stuck behind a fence with barbed wire.
I know.
You know, it's just a crazy thought.
I know. Oh, we're very lucky
Yep.
to live in New Zealand, huh?
Yep. Very.
Do you
blessed.
guys fear though that because from the 10 years that I've been here, I've noticed some changes. Do you guys feel like we could be dealing with a bigger social gap?
No, I see. I
increases?
see what you're saying, and I see it starting to happen. But you know, like having lived in London and in Europe, where terrorism is just it's a real thing. Like just even talking about that river dance thing, that was a real thing. Whereas the other day, Queenstown Airport evacuated because someone found a ski boot warmer. You know, it's like it's not a real thing. I don't feel like there's terrorism here, but then again, look what happened in Christchurch. You know,
But more
out
like
the blue.
more
Yeah.
when it comes to just like the social issue of actually like
Yeah.
wealth becoming a big thing and like poor people trying to catch up with it. Because that's kind of how violence starts to be generated in countries, right? It's just like this big social gap where we all have a phone, we all have access to what's cool, we all want to have cool stuff, but some people have money to get that stuff, some people don't. So you find your ways. So like I know that it's far, but like it's a conversation that I like to have because I really hope it doesn't happen. I see it's like this small country with so much potential, so much wealth. Why would you not look after your people that this social gap doesn't grow, eh? Roy's brewing. Roy's gonna.
Well, we can answer that. I just want to talk about Big Bird. I don't do politics.
Fair enough.
Over to you, Roy.
Go with the big bird. Big Bird would probably agree, actually. No, it's yeah, there is. There's a gap, and yeah. All I'm going to say is I see it every day. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Big Bird, so fuck off.
Did you just call me Big Bird?
No, that tall fucking 12-foot
Well, fair
bloody
enough.
emu. How tall is he? How
Who, Big
tall?
Bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
Here you go. Love this. If you
He's a little bit taller than that light there.
if you were to tell a child in the book, how would you?
Oh,
what
yeah.
would be the analogy of
2
how
meters,
big?
He'd be the height of a door. The height of a door, and another half door.
Yeah.
A door and a half.
That's a big bird.
And then then there's the roller skates too.
Yeah, well, that's cheating, eh?
Was
Is it-
he like? Was the mouth like his hands? Was it?
I think you'll find it's a beak.
Shit. Beak. There you go. English lessons for the teacher. Anyone keen to support?
English lesson for the teacher.
Yeah. English lessons for the teacher. Roy will help to pay. I did this right. I got this part right.
Yeah, that was
I got
great.
this part right.
Mouse.
Man, imagine how many times the kids correct me at school. You wouldn't believe. I can't believe I got a job for 8 years.
What do you?
I just can't believe.
Hang on, no, enough about me.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ask me.
Go.
Last time that I thought I would die.
Okay. So who are you and where am I? If anyone's watching this,
What's the pencil?
if
What's the
anyone's
pencil?
watching this, help me! I just woke up here. I think I've lost a kidney.
Be careful when you walk outside. Don't
See you
step
guys
on the
next
ice.
week. See you guys next week. It's time. She
I've
got
been
it, she
really
got it.
drowsy since they ate that food.
Don't drink the water, man.
No, but so you what do you teach? Obviously not anatomy.
Not English, not anatomy, no biology. I teach the drums. So I am the arts administrator of the school. I work in the arts department.
Oh, nice.
And I do a little bit of work with the learning support.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so it's a cool job.
I went to Mercury Bay School.
How many years?
It first started when it was the old school.
Right.
Yeah, and then it moved. I was there when it moved. I was only there for a couple of years.
Did you like it?
Not really.
Not really, no. Not really, no. I was not there.
No, I don't know. They made me go cross country running too much for my liking. And,
I heard that before from different people saying that it's not a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm not a bit lazy for that kind of caper. Yeah, I went between there and Wellington, so I came back and forth a few times.
I was there in 83.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been there in 83 probably. Or a bit.
It was tiny
Yeah.
compared to what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is still like that, but I remember that it was the biggest area school in the country, maybe like 3-4 years ago. Probably still is. 1000
Well, they scooped a lot of kids from most of the peninsula up, really, eh?
Yep.
I mean, the nearest school would have been Thames, right?
That's right.
High school, yeah.
And now it's, I also went to Coromandel as well. I think that was 84 or 85. Yeah.
Because it used to take forever on the school bus from Kuatunu in there because the roads weren't sealed.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you quite often get the day off, eh?
Yep.
If there was a slip or
Yep.
something.
Didn't have to be a big one. Bus would get you and go, can't make it around that corner.
Yeah. It was great, eh? Yes!
Yeah.
No cross-country
Yeah.
run for me.
Yeah. And then the bus driver would be sitting there going, waving in the mirror going, can you back up? Back up, I've got a bus to turn around.
Yeah, Yeah, half your day on the bus. Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
But how special, eh? Like you studied here, you've done crazy things around the world. Here you are.
Yeah, and then I'm
Back
back. Yeah, I was down on the reserve when I was quite young in Kortunu thinking, I really love it here, want to be here, but I want to go away and see the world.
Nice.
And so I'm actually at the bit now where I've come back and I've kind of done what I said I was going to do.
Yep.
So, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah.
I always think that it's nice to be in a place like Whamapa, Kuatunu, Whitianga, even anywhere actually around the Ngāhere or Tongaroa. But to go away from here and spend time away from here makes you want to come home to
Yeah.
appreciate it more.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. That's so true. And for me, when I had two goals in life when I was young. One was to own a car with electric windows, and the other was to leave New Zealand at least once. So nailed it.
Yeah.
But just so you know, my car does have electric windows. That's
Nice.
I know. I'm just bragging now.
And I'm sure the aircon works well, right?
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah. And the fact that you can, make sure that you don't blow the electricals in your car, because then obviously Big Bird's mouth will get stuck in the window.
What about Snuffleupagus' mouth?
Are there two people in Snuffleupagus?
No, he wasn't in the show, but I'll tell you, I did see Bert naked.
True.
Yep. I had to put him in the bath for a rubber ducky number.
No.
Rubber ducky, you're the one.
It gets late, the cool stars start to
Yeah, I know.
come up.
Just
Here we
riffing
go.
now. It's getting a bit sorted now.
Oh, Bert.
Yeah.
Bring that rum. Bring that rum. Team, thank you so much. What a pleasure. Emma, I'm serious. I'll bring you back. Let's talk about the book next time.
Yeah, well, the book sure is just at the end of the design phase now. It's all been illustrated. We got this wonderful illustrator called Chris Slane who does a lot of cartoons for the papers, the national papers,
Cool.
and
Nice.
he's graciously illustrated the book for us,
Nice.
which is amazing. My dad's super happy about that, so I think we're going to have a great book on our hands.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Please keep us posted. Awesome.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's been
thank
super
you so
fun.
much. Wow, that was awesome. Thank you. Great stories. Great stories.
And lovely to see you, Roy.
Yeah, you too, mate. No, that was great. It was Prince. I just want to touch down on
P.
Prince. Mr. P. So Prince is the reason why I got into music.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Listening to and watching the movie Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Yep. That just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough, too.
And my mother and I and my mother's partner at the time went down to the Great Western Steakhouse in New Lynn, West Auckland, and we were there for a meal. And I think it might have been her birthday. Can't quite remember why we were there, but we were there for a celebration. And there was a karaoke bar. This lady was putting on a karaoke. And she walks up to the table with the book and she looks at Mum and she goes, "You look like a beautiful wahine that knows how to use her voice for singing." And she looked at her and she just sort of smiled very politely and declined and says, "No, but he will." And I went, "The fuck you talking about?" Yeah, I'd never sung in my life. And she goes, "He sings. What's that? What's that? Who's that? That guy that wears the purple clothes?"
Awesome.
And I said, "Prince." And she goes, yeah, you sing that Rain one. So I got up and sang Purple Rain. And because of being able to sing that for my mother, that then started the journey of my musical life. Yeah, of where I wanted to go. So that your pu korero about Prince, just yeah, it's been very cool. Yeah, very cool.
nice.
So thank you.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, team. Thanks for sharing. Great stories. That was fun. I love the shows that we can have a good laugh. Thank you. And for you watching us at home, make sure to go to Blue Ginger, have some kai, and we're back next week, every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Peace.
Blue Ginger.